Welcome to my craft room. I'm here every Wednesday. Like I said, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I love Stampin' Up! Products, and I use Stampin' Up! Products for all my cards and my projects. I do classes, I do local classes, do YouTube and Facebook, and I sell the products. So if you are interested in anything that you see, any of the products, or if you have questions, contact me. And this is where you can find me, www.stampandshout.com, or there's my email address, and here are the projects that I'd like to show you tonight. So I'm using Amazing Life. It's a new stamp set that just came out in the Occasion catalog. It's got a lot of fun sentiments, and don't ask me why I decided to use the teeniest, tiniest ones, but I'm using the little shamrock and happy birthday. But it's really got some fun sentiments, nice big words, so there's a lot of things we can do with this. But for tonight, this is what I'm doing. So I have my pot of gold. This is just so flippin' cute, I love it. And all I have on here from that stamp set is the little shamrock. So we're gonna make that little basket. It's kind of hard to see because it's black, but a pot of gold is black, so there's nothing I can do about it. But we'll talk about that when we make it. And I have a little good luck card with the shamrocks and a happy birthday card. Okay, so let's see. Let's do the good luck card. So I'll bring in my supplies for that. And let's see. I'm going to use shaded spruce. And I'm going to use this cute little textured folder. It's called Dot to Dots. That's in the Occasion catalog. And I have some of this already done, but not all of it. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm using the gingham paper, so you're going to see how I put this together in a minute. This is 6x6 DSP that's in the Occasion catalog. Absolutely love it. It's double-sided. You got the larger gingham and the little gingham. And of course there's my embossed piece of the dot to dot, and my card base and my mat. So let's see here. The first thing I'm going to do is I have to actually clear a spot because I have to bring in my big shot. I did not have everything done because I needed to talk about a few of these things. So let's get that big shot in here. So I'm also using the rectangles framelits, stitched framelits. I absolutely love these. So let me just show you really quick. There are just some products you just cannot do without. This is one of them. It is just so cool for so many reasons. You get so many. Let's see, how many do you get? You get 13 rectangles, and they're all of the little stitched shape, little stitched edge on it. So that's one of the framelits that I'm using tonight. So I'm using, I always forget the name of this. This is Grapefruit Grove. So I'm going to cut a rectangle out of that and a rectangle out of the Whisper White. So it's making a lot of noise. So I've got this piece here. It's got the little stitched edge on there. And just loosen it up. A little white one, Whisper White. And what I want to do next is I want to bring in the shaded spruce matte piece, and I'm going to cut a oval out of that. And this is another great product. I have to say, the layering circles, the layering squares, the layering ovals, and the rectangles are great products. They're probably my favorite because you can use them for everything. So here, look at all the ovals you get. So I'm using 2 of the ovals for tonight's project with a good luck sentiment that's on my card right there. So actually I needed to stamp this really quick with good luck. So let's see if I can do that. I'm going to do that right here so you guys can see that. Then we'll cut it out. So I, again, am using Shaded Spruce. So I will have a little scrap here. And I'm going to bring in my Good Luck stamp. So I just need to stamp my little scrap right there. And then, so I like to use that matte piece if I have to cut out some more pieces for my card so that I don't waste a whole piece of paper or a whole scrap. So there I have that. And my Good Luck. I think we're done with the Big Shot for a bit. Bring in my card so we can see what we're doing. So now we just have to basically put this together. So you just do it piece by piece. I'm going to put the Good Luck on this oval. So I have my card base, Whisper White, and I'm going to add some snail and put down the matte piece. I will have the dimensions for this project on my blog tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about the sizes or the colors. You can just look at how I'm putting it all together. Okay, so now I'm going to put this piece on. This is really, that's this side. Look how cool that looks. I love that dot to dot. Also, I wanted to mention that these folders, the new folders, Stampin' Up! Has a line on here, which is really helpful for getting a nice straight embossed look, which is nice if you have something that's striped like that, so you get it nice and straight. You just line your paper up with that straight line, so you don't have to guess. So let's nail this on. And then this piece here, well, let's continue. Let's put this piece on. So again, I cheated on this piece because what I'm going to do is I had a scrap piece that wasn't quite long enough. So I know that this piece is going to go right here. So I am going to cheat and lay two pieces down and you won't even know it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add those pieces on with my snail. Have a little bit of an edge right down there. Kind of make sure I match it up as evenly as possible. Okay, we'll come back to that. Well, let me go ahead and do this piece. Dimensions. So this is going to go right over here, centered between here. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of stamping, not a lot. So let me bring in a scrap piece of paper and my little shamrock stamp and Shaded Spruce. So what I did was I just stamped a little bouquet of shamrocks. And it's really nice to use this because they're the polymer stamps, so you can see right through them. I'm a little off angle, so it's kind of hard for me to see exactly where I'm stamping. Okay, then I brought in my Stampin' Blend in light shaded spruce, and I just colored them in. And I didn't go all the way to the edge because I found that if you do, it's kind of going to blend right over the edge. And I kind of like the little white spaces here and there. It looks kind of cool. So I didn't fuss with this one too much. But when I was done, it looked so cool. So anyway, it sounds like a nice spring day out there today. I can hear the rain falling. But I know the temperatures are going to drop and it's going to be dangerous out there, icy roads. So I'm glad I'm in here in my craft room, spending time with you guys. Hope you're all nice and cozy too. Sorry I missed you last week. Like I said, I had a funeral to go to that day and wasn't feeling very creative at night, so kind of took a break. This shaded spruce is really a pretty color. It's not too dark. There you go. Isn't that cute? I love it. It's really pretty in person. Just a little bit of fussing and that's what happens. So I'm going to snail this onto my little Grapefruit Grove matte piece. And this is why I brought this scrap in. It just kind of went through the card, but it doesn't go onto your other piece, but you're never sure, so I just brought that little scrap piece in. And now I'm going to bring in my dimensions again, and I'm going to pop this piece up. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is add a little bow. Just tie a bow real quick here. So I'm just going to squish that glue dot a little bit because it's a little bit bigger than my knot, and just smoosh it down there on my card. Probably trim that up a little bit. Let me do that. Put my glue dots away. Shorten this up a little bit. That's better. And there we go. Let's see. First card's done. Okay, let's go on. Let's see. What do we want to do next? Let's bring in this card. Simple card, but just got a little bit of a different layout. I'm pretty sure I saw something like this on Pinterest, so I just changed it up to fit what I wanted to do. Different paper, different stamps, but the layout's kind of cute. So again, let's see. Let me bring in all my pieces here. Actually, I think I'm going to change this one up. I'm going to use, instead of the pool party background, I'm going to use the Night of Navy. I wanted to see if it looked a little bit more guyish when I did it that way. So let's see here. Let's start with, so I got my card base, I got my matte piece of Night of Navy, I have my stamping piece, which again is embossed in the dot to dot embossing folder, and I have a couple of pieces of DSP, and this is the Twinkle Twinkle DSP. So it's actually the opposite side that we're going to be using. So let's put the bases, the little basic pieces together, and we don't have to think about that. We'll do the easy part. So St. Patty's Day is coming up next. So obviously that's why I did my little good luck card. kind of a fun card to give to somebody. I'm sure there's an occasion for that. So this one here, let me show you. On my card here, I have a little matte piece of Pool Party, and I was going to do the same for this, but I decided I didn't need it. So I'm just going to lay the DSP right on that Whisper White, but before I do, I have to do some stamping. So I got a couple of scraps here, and I have my little cake stamp. There's another little teeny tiny stamp from the Amazing Life stamp set, and I stamped it in Night of Navy. And I stamped Happy Birthday on another scrap. Okay. Then I brought in my Night of Navy Stampin' Blend. This is the light Night of Navy. And I just kind of went right across the top of the cake. And then I filled in the little swirls. I'm going to use the other end for the swirls, the little teeny tiny end of my Stampin' Blend. So did you notice the Stampin' Blends has a thick line and a thin line to let you know which tip is which, the thick tip or the little tiny thin tip. So I kind of put a little stripe on my candle, and then I just filled in the little swirls. And you don't have to do a lot of coloring with this, but when you get done, it's very pretty. And then I fussy cut it. So let me bring in my little paper snips. I fussy cut this also. Okay, and then I'm just going to fussy cut this. So when you fussy cut, I do not go all the way to the edge of the stamp. I leave a little tiny border, kind of move the paper. And then we'll pop this up on a dimension. Little teeny tiny cake. Okay, so now what I did was I brought in my designer series paper. Again, I will have all the sizes on my blog, so you know. And I kind of laid this down like this, and I brought in my circle punch, and I cut a chunk out of this designer series paper. So you can play with it again once it's in here. Let me bring in my other card so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm kind of just looking where I want that to be, which is going to be in this bottom right hand corner. You know what? I'm going to show you something. Let's make it simple. A little dab of snail on there. And then we'll go like this. And just kind of eyeballing it, what I think might look cool. Okay. So this little piece of cake will come right off like a piece of cake. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up on the back, so it has a nice little rectangle shape to it. Okay, so bring in my snail, and I just snailed this piece. You could also use some Tombow glue. And I want want the opposite side facing down, and I just matched it up with the edges. And there you go. So then we're going to add this, and I'm going to add that with dimensions. I think my favorite part of Stampin' Up! Or making cards are the embossing folders. I have a, this little tiny edge of embossed texture. It looks so cool. So I think that is my favorite part of a card. I just think it adds so much. So that's usually the first thing that I buy. I look at all the Stampin' Up! Folders, and that's what I buy. Okay, we'll leave that there. And then I'm going to take my little card and put a couple of little dimensions. I also have the mini dimensions somewhere, but they're not readily available, so I'm just going to cut up the regular dimensions, cut them in half, and they'll work just fine on this little teeny tiny piece. And put that there, and this is going to slide right there, and I'm going to put a dimension, no I'm not, I'm just going to snail this down. Then, last but not least, I have Happiness Blooms enamel dots. I'm just going to add a couple of them here or there, and it just adds that final touch. And I'm going to put them on the white stripes so they really show up. So there we go, that one. And Night of Navy. There's 3 different sizes, so it's kind of cool. You can just do whatever floats your boat. And let's see, I think I'll do one more. I'll do a little medium-sized one. And let's see, I'll put it right. I'll put it down here. Oops. Okay, there we go. Second project done. Cute, huh? Okay, what do you think? The navy? I like them both. I can't decide, but I like them both. That's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed my projects. Please come back and visit me. Share my Facebook video with your friends so I can get more followers, and we can have a big old party and have more people yakking. And I really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at stampandshout@gmail.com. And until next week, don't be shy. Stamp and shout.